Hello students, good morning. This is the 11th and last part of our chapter Work and Energy. In this part we will discuss about what is power and commercial unit of energy. So first let us start with power. In order to understand power, let us consider an example here. Here in this example you can see that there are two persons, person A and person B. Both have to lift the same block of mass 50 kg to a height of 2 meter. So first let us calculate the amount of work required in order to raise this block of mass 50 kg to a height of 2 meter. Now students, you know the formula for work done is given as W equal to F force into displacement S. This formula is applicable only when both the force and displacement have same direction. Now in order to raise this block in upward direction, the force must be applied in upward direction and the displacement is also in upward direction. So here in this situation we can say force and displacement both have same direction, so we can apply this formula. Now here the force required to raise this block is equal to weight of the block, that is m into g, and the displacement is given as 2 meter. Now let us substitute the values. So mass is 50 kg, g is 9.8 and displacement is 2. So it comes out to be 980 joules. It means this much amount of work should be done in order to raise this block of mass 50 kg to a height of 2 meter. Since the person B is also raising the same block of mass 50 kg to a height of 2 meter, so we can say person B also has to do a work equal to 980 joules. So here also work required is 980 joules. But person A takes 10 seconds to do this amount of work, while person B takes only 1 second to do the same amount of work, that is 980 joules. So it is important for us to know who is doing same amount of work at faster rate. Now we are going to calculate rate of doing work for both the person A and B. So in order to calculate rate of doing work, what we have to do? We have to divide the total amount of work divided by total time taken. So first let us calculate rate of doing work by person A. So rate of doing work by the person A is equals to total amount of work, that is 980 joule, divided by total time taken, that is 10 seconds. So it comes out to be 98 joule per second. What does this mean? It means that person A has the capability to spend 98 joules of energy every second. Now let us calculate rate of doing work for person B. So rate of doing work for person B equals to total amount of work, that is 980 joule, divided by total time taken, that is 1 second. So it comes out to be 980 joules per second. It means person B has the capacity to spend 980 joules of energy every second. So it is clear that person B can spend 980 amount of joule every second, but person A can spend only 98 joule per second. So we can say person B has more power. Now here we have introduced a term power. So power in physics means rate of doing work. Rate of doing work is defined as power. It means the person who is doing work at faster rate has more power. Again, here you can see that the person which has more power is transferring the energy at faster rate. If I am saying that person B has more power, then here you can see that person B can spend 980 joules of energy or transfer 980 joules of energy every second. But person A, which has less power, can spend only 98 joules of energy every second. So we can also define power as rate of transfer of energy. One who is transferring energy at faster rate has more power. Okay students, so I hope it is clear. Rate of doing work is known as power, or we can also say rate of transfer of energy is power. So we can define power as power of a machine, person or system is defined as rate of doing work by it. In other words, we can say rate of transfer of energy. Now let us say W amount of work to be done by a system or person in time t. Then its power capital P is given by power equals to work divided by time. Here the work is W and the time taken to do that work is small t. So we can represent power capital P equal to capital W divided by small t. So this is the general formula for power. Now from this expression it is clear that power is directly proportional to amount of work and inversely proportional to time required to do that work. So we can say first power is directly proportional to W, that is amount of work. What does it mean? When a body does more amount of work in a particular time, its power is said to be greater. And vice versa. Vice versa means reverse is also true. It means if a body has more power, then it can do more amount of work. Second is power is inversely proportional to time. That is, we can say when a body takes less time to do a particular amount of work, then its power is greater. And vice versa, again the reverse is true. It means if a body has more power, then it can do a particular amount of work in less time. Okay, so these are the two results that we can derive from this formula. P equals to work done, that is W divided by T. Now you already know that power is rate of transfer of energy, so we can define power as energy supplied divided by time taken, or we can represent it as capital P, that is power, equal to E divided by T. Now students, we have derived the formula for power as W by T, where W is the amount of work done and T is the time required to do that work. And in previous part we have derived the general formula for work done as F into S into cos theta, where F is the force applied, S is the displacement, and theta is the angle between the force vector and displacement. So if we use this expression, this formula for the work done in this expression, then what we can write? P equal to, in place of W we can write F into S into cos theta divided by T. This can also be written as capital P equal to capital F into S by T into cos theta. Now you know S is displacement and T is time, and displacement divided by time is known as velocity. So in place of S by T we can write V, that is velocity. So what we get? Capital P equals to capital F into V into cos theta. Why? Because we know displacement by time is equal to velocity. So this is the expression for power which relates force and velocity. Now if the direction of force and displacement are same, then what we can write? If object is placed in the same direction of the applied force, then theta will become equal to 0 degree. And if theta is equals to 0 degree, then we can say cos of theta equals to 1. Now here, using this expression, we can write P equals to F into V into cos of 0 degree. And you know cos of 0 degree is 1. So what we can write? P equals to F into V. So this is the expression which is relating the power, force and velocity. P equals to F into V. We often use this expression in most of the cases where the object displaced in same direction of force, that is P equals to F into V. Now students, let us consider this situation. Here in this situation you can see that there is a man who is displacing this large block through the horizontal line AC. Now what happened? He displaces this block from A to B at a faster rate, but after reaching at the B, he feels tired, and now he displaces the block from B to C at a slower rate. Let us assume he displaces the block from A to B and does a 100 joule of work. How much work? 100 joule of work only in 5 seconds. But when he reaches at this position B, he feels tired, and now he displaces the block from position B to C, but at a slower rate. Let us say again he is doing the same amount of work, that is 100 joule, but in 10 seconds. So we can say that from A to B he is doing the same amount of work at faster rate, but from B to C he is doing the same amount of work at slower rate. So it means that from A to B the person has more power, but from B to C the person has less power. Let us try to calculate power here. So from A to B we can find the power as total amount of work, that is 100 joule divided by total time taken 5 seconds. So it comes out to be 20 joule per second. It means from A to B, person A is spending 20 joules of energy every second. Now let us calculate power from B to C. So power from B to C equals to total amount of work 100 joule divided by total time taken 10 seconds. So it comes out to be 10 joule per second. Now from B to C, the person is spending 10 joules of energy every second. So it is clear that from A to B, he is spending 20 joules of energy every second, but from B to C, he is spending only 10 joules of energy every second. It means from A to B, he has more power, but from B to C, he has less power. So in this whole journey from A to C, the person has different powers. So if we want to calculate overall power from A to C, then we need a term average power. So now we define what is average power. So average power is defined as average amount of work done by a body per unit time. The formula for average power is given by total work done divided by total time taken. Okay students, or we can also say, work done as transfer of energy. So we can also calculate the total work done as total energy supplied or consumed divided by total time taken. Okay students, yet we have understood about power. So it is important for us to know what is the SI unit of power. So students, the SI unit of power is watt, which is represented by capital W, and this is given in the honor of a scientist, James Watt. Again we have derived the expression for power as energy transferred, that is E divided by T. Now here if we put energy E equal to 1 joule and time T as 1 second, then power can be written as 1 joule divided by 1 second. So it comes out to be 1 joule per second, which is equals to 1 watt. It means power is said to be 1 watt if energy is transferring or work is being done at the rate of 1 joule per second. Okay, so here what we can define in this above expression, if we put E equals to 1 joule and T equal to 1 second, then power will also be 1 watt. So we can write 1 watt equals to 1 joule divided by 1 second. Or with the help of this expression, we can define 1 watt of power. So power is said to be 1 watt if work is being done or energy is being supplied at the rate of 1 joule per second. Okay students, so this is the definition of 1 watt. Now some bigger units of power are 1 kilowatt. 1 kilowatt means 1000 watts, or we can write it as 1 kilowatt equals to 10 to the power 3 watt. Some more units we have here. 1 megawatt. 1 megawatt is equals to 10 to the power 6 watt. 1 gigawatt equals to 10 to the power 9 watt. And one most important unit of power is horsepower. Horsepower is another unit of power which is mostly used in engineering. It is denoted by HP. And 1 horsepower is equals to 746 watt. So we can write 1 horsepower equals to 746 watts, or 1 HP equals to 746 watt. So these are some special units of power which you should remember. Okay students. Now students, let us see commercial unit of energy. The commercial unit of energy is kWh. What does this kWh stands for? kWh means kilowatt hour. So kilowatt hour is the commercial unit of energy. But again, in order to understand this commercial unit of energy, let us start with the general expression that we have derived for power. So power is defined as energy transferred divided by time. That is E divided by T. This equation can be rearranged as E equals to, that is energy, equals to power into time, P into T. Now here students, if we put in place of power 1 watt and in place of T we put 1 second, then what we get? Energy E equal to 1 watt into 1 second. So it is equals to 1 joule. Or we can define 1 joule equals to 1 watt into 1 second. What does this expression means? This expression means that if there is an electric appliance of power 1 watt which is operated for 1 second, then it will consume an electrical energy equal to 1 joule. Okay students? But again students, joule is very small unit of energy. For engineering purpose, in industries and for commercial purpose, we use larger units of energy. One of the larger unit of energy is kilowatt hour, which we use for commercial purpose. That's why it is known as commercial unit of energy. Now let us try to define commercial unit of energy, that is kilowatt hour, with the help of this expression. Now here if we put in place of P 1 kilowatt and in place of time we put 1 hour, then what we get? Energy E equal to 1 kilowatt into 1 hour. So it is equals to 1 kilowatt hour. That is, we can write 1 kilowatt hour equal to 1 kilowatt into 1 hour. Now what does this expression means? This expression means that if there is an electric appliance of power 1 kilowatt which is operated for 1 hour, then it will consume an electrical energy equal to 1 kilowatt hour. So 1 kilowatt hour is the amount of energy being consumed by an electrical appliance of power 1 kilowatt which is operated for 1 hour. So I hope it is clear to you. So we can write the following things that we have discussed here. If we put P equals to 1 watt and T equal to 1 second in this above expression, then what we get? Energy E equals to 1 joule. That is, we can write 1 joule equals to 1 watt into 1 second. And with the help of this expression, we can say that if there is an electric appliance of power 1 watt which is operated for 1 second, then it will consume 1 joule of electrical energy. But again students, we know that joule is a smaller unit of energy. So for commercial purpose, we use larger unit, that is kilowatt hour. That's why kilowatt hour is known as commercial unit of energy. Now we will define what is 1 kilowatt hour. So 1 kilowatt hour is the energy which is said to be consumed by an appliance or machine of power 1 kilowatt or 1000 watt if it is operated for a time period of 1 hour. Or we can write 1 commercial unit of energy equals to 1 kilowatt hour. And you know that 1 kilowatt equals to 1000 watt. So we can write 1 kilowatt hour equals to 1000 watt into 1 hour. Now we will express the commercial unit of energy, that is kilowatt hour, into joules. So let us see. Since we know that 1 kilowatt hour equals to 1000 watt into 1 hour, and again you know 1 hour contains 60 minutes and each minute contains 60 seconds. So 1 hour can be written as 60 into 60 seconds. So this expression can be written as 1000 watt as it is, into, in place of 1 hour we can write 60 into 60 seconds. Now if we multiply all these values, then what we get? 1000 watt into 3600 second, and it can be written as 36 into 10 to the power 5 watt second, which can be written as 3.6 into 10 to the power 6, and watt second is joule, so we can write 3.6 into 10 to the power 6 joule. It means 1 kilowatt hour equals to 3.6 into 10 to the power 6 joule. This is an important conclusion, that is 1 kilowatt hour equals to 3.6 into 10 to the power 6 joules. Okay, now students, the monthly electricity bill that we received, there also the units are expressed in kilowatt hour. So we can write 1 unit in electricity bill means consumption of 1 kilowatt hour of electrical energy. That is, we can write here 1 unit is equivalent to 1 kilowatt hour. So this is an important relationship between unit and kilowatt hour. 1 unit means consumption of 1 kilowatt hour. So this is very important, which we use further in solving some problems related to commercial unit of energy. Now let us solve a numerical based on commercial unit of energy. So here in this question it is given, in a house following appliances are working: 4 tube lights of 40 watt each for 8 hours daily, 2 fans of 60 watt each for 10 hours daily, and 1 TV set of 200 watt for 8 hours daily. Now we have to answer the following questions. First, calculate the total energy consumption per day. Now here in this question it is given that in a house there are 4 tube lights, each of 40 watt, and each are operating for 8 hours daily. There are 2 fans, each of 60 watt, and each are operating for 10 hours daily. And there is 1 TV set of 200 watt which is operating for 8 hours daily. So in order to find total energy consumption per day, we have to find the per day consumption by 4 tube lights of 40 watt operated for 8 hours, per day consumption of 2 fans of 60 watt each and operated for 10 hours daily, and per day consumption of TV set of 200 watt which is operating for 8 hours daily. So first let us determine per day consumption of these appliances. So energy consumption per day by 4 tube lights of 40 watt used for 8 hours daily can be calculated as number of tube lights into power of each tube light into number of hours for which it is operating. So let us say the energy consumption is E dash. So E dash can be written as number of tube light, that is 4, into power of each tube light, that is 40 watt, into 8 hours. So it comes out to be 1280 watt hour. Again in the same way, calculate the energy consumption per day by 2 fans of 60 watt each used for 10 hours daily. So let us say the energy consumption is E double dash. So E double dash can be written as number of fans, that is 2, into power of each fan 60 watt into number of hours 10 hour. So it comes out to be 1200 watt hour. In the same way, energy consumption by 200 watt of TV set which is used for 8 hours can be written as E triple dash equals to number of TV set, that is 1, into 200 watt into 8 hour. So it comes out to be 1600 watt hour. Okay students. Now total energy consumption per day can be written as E equal to E dash plus E double dash plus E triple dash. Now let us substitute the values. So E equal to 1280 plus 1200 plus 1600 watt hour. So it comes out to be 4080 watt hours. It means there is consumption of 4080 watt hour of energy per day. Now this much energy can also be calculated in kilowatt hour. So we can express this much energy in kilowatt hour as 4080 watt hour equals to 4080 divided by 1000. Why? Because we know 1 kilowatt equals to 1000 watt. So 4080 watt hour can be written as 4080 divided by 1000 kilowatt hour. So it comes out to be 4.08 kilowatt hour. Okay students, so this much is the amount of energy which is consumed by the following appliances per day. Now the second part we have, find the total energy consumption for a month of 30 days. Now in this part it is clear that this much is the amount of energy consumed per day. If we have to calculate the energy consumption for a month of 30 days, then what we do? We just multiply this much energy by number of days. So it can be written as energy consumed for a month of 30 days equals to 30, that is number of day, into per day consumption. Now it can be written as 30 into E, that is per day consumption. Now the value of E is 4.08 kilowatt hour. So we can put here 30 into 4.08 kilowatt hour. So it comes out to be 122.4 kilowatt hour. And we know that in electricity bill, 1 unit means 1 kilowatt hour. So 122.4 kilowatt hour means 122.4 units. In place of kilowatt hour, we can write units. It means there is a consumption of 122.4 units per month. Now students, from the previous part, it is clear that there is consumption of total 122.4 units every month. Now in this part, we have to determine the electricity bill if each unit cost rupees 5. And we know that there is consumption of 122.4 units. And if each unit cost rupees 5, then in order to find the electricity bill, what we do? We just multiply rupees 5 by the total number of units. So here we can write electricity bill at the rate of rupees 5 per unit equals to total unit consumed into rupees 5. Again we know total unit consumed is 122.4 into rupees 5. Now let us multiply. So after multiplying we get rupees 612. It means for a month the electricity bill will be rupees 612 if each unit costs rupees 5. So I hope students it is clear to you how to determine the electricity bill and how to convert the energy consumption into kilowatt hour. Okay students, so thank you students.